Let us welcome the gentleman general from New York, ladies and gentlemen. Take precautions. Not even my orders. God bless you, Michael. In New York City, I've seen one-bedroom apartments that are smaller than Big Baby. On many situations, Big Baby doesn't look very good. He appears to carry 298 quite effectively. You know, he knows as much as he can. I wonder whether he lost a few pounds or something. A disagreement over promotion. He hasn't been active then. He's overweight because of that, among other things. Washington is making a point. Analyzing the fight is not difficult. In other words, he wouldn't be as effective if Big Baby's used that jab and he was okay with it. This would be a good top right hand over the later rounds. When Deontay Wilder was caught and knocked out, it was against him. Wearing an efficient first round is Washington down? And that's what we mean when we talk about effective aggressiveness. Aggression without punching will not work. Being able to enter and block is what you want, essentially passing through it. You can now observe Washington opposing therapies and for the first time in a corner. There is no pushing Big Baby back game if he rocks him there. Washington is obviously present, but this is not good. He's been up against the ropes more and more as the round mounted. Indeed, yes. And once more, Mo can do whatever he wants. It's been a bit of a pawing jab, and I'm afraid he'll get away with it. Actually, it's not a jab. Where I thought there may be a major wobble, that's the right hand. According to show statistics, Washington had a connect advantage in round 1 of 17-12. You've had a fantastic career, but based on what I've witnessed in my life, I don't think you could relate to these two guys and Daniel. Daniel's remark on body language is further reinforced by the way they move. Washington's time against the rope is increasing, squared up as well. Additionally, watch Washington play straight into Miller's hand with a fantastic uppercut that buckles the knees. This is a significant difference. As his career progresses, he is undoubtedly learning. For Washington, this is undoubtedly a novel experience. Here he is once more. Let's go back to the rope. Everything is heavyweight. Miller weighs a lot of weight. I believe that Washington is only making things worse for himself. Well done. It is imperative that he see the body immediately. And he's giving the man little investments when he wants to go for the knockout. And as you can see, he has a really excellent knockout ratio, but he would be able to apply it. He smells blood. So yes, as he progresses, he is learning these things. Additionally, if he can maintain his excellent performance while delaying your blows when your square Washington's right hand supports him with 3 punches, all of which were rather missed by Washington. Daniel, if you return to the corner and raise your arms on the ropes in that manner today, it's because you're displaying signs of exhaustion. And my trainer, who prefers to be straightforward, doesn't want me to appear weak in any way. Keep your hands down then. This explains why, following a strong first round, he is in round 2. However, you don't want to be a stationary target. I need to reconsider how he uses his punches in this situation. When a man keeps coming after you, hit him like that. Yes, this is your best chance. Large uppercut, shoving him into a corner with his back. Glides under shots and ends little at the waist. He's currently using a heavyweight to duck punches, but he's incredibly agile and adaptable, delivering 4 body shots followed by Miller's uppercut. He's having trouble breathing. It appears that Big Baby's investments in the body are paying off. Washington was only knocked down once, and that was against Wilder. Correct. Cass won the first round on Showbox. Indeed. After that, everything revolved around Miller. It's obvious that Washington's right hand has been his strongest weapon. At least it seems to me that you wouldn't want a 300-pound heavyweight leaning all over you, yet sometimes he stares and looks. That doesn't seem like it would be part of the strategy. I've witnessed large words. That was George Foreman, who exhausted his opponents without even delivering a blow. Yes, it's a craft that most big men aren't able to use well. But if you can, especially with a 6 on the left coast, you may go to Showtime even if you don't currently have a subscription. And so far, I think Big Baby's maze is interesting. Harry Kit is not inside the ring. He is outside it. They have a particular guy they'd like to talk to in the corner, and both of them have wonderful relationships. Back against the ropes after that, Miller gets pushed by Washington. It is indeed. He immediately returns to the ropes, chopping the right hand. Miller's left hand is good. Washington was harmed by that. And Miller's right hand, a whistling left is missed. How powerful you believe those punches to be. The Miller releases both hands when Washington is against the ropes. There are instances when you force the referee to break up the fight. Not entirely sure. He doesn't appear to have had much ring rush. He's gazing at 298 and letting his punches fly. Can he do this if he must? For 10 rounds, correct. And you've won that question, which is really very valid. The right hand must be appealing to you. Depending on the circumstance, it can be overhand or straight. Washington's left hand is now dangerously low. What about Big Baby's endurance? He appears to be the same person he was in the first round, but perhaps not in Washington. Michael Moira was born in Brooklyn, but you have Tyson Briggs in round 4. Yes, exactly. Well, I'm omitting a couple. Of course, Ricky Bowe, yes, all from Brooklyn. Everything from pretty essentially the same neighborhood, isn't it? Yes, we have a list of Hall of Famers. Additionally, it's just boxing for another Brooklyn man to enter here. Therefore, it's fantastic that another man is coming to represent Brooklyn, New York, and Brooklyn with our new stadium and arena. Getting more. You can hit him wherever. Strike his hands. Strike his arms. You can hit him wherever. Second, I made it out alive. My chances are slightly better. What happens if you don't make it to the second part of the fight? That's right. You don't necessarily picture yourself succeeding once you're in that mindset. Trying to survive by fending the guy off is all that's left to do. He's at the exact same spot there. Returns immediately, except to stop. Give up. Given his weight, will he be able to maintain his hand speed and combo punching into subsequent rounds? Keep in mind that this is a job. Once more, that uppercut. Over the top using the right hand. Big Baby, he's got those cunning shots. His hands are really, Gerald Washington finds it difficult to keep up, although this round has been rather successful for him. In the second part of this round, he would be able to hold his arm somewhat. He is a tough guy, and that hasn't really been the case out of Argentina. And Picket Fight is, of course, the main event. All you need to do to access it if you aren't a subscriber is visit showtime.com and search for free trial. Right in the middle of Washington's grill is Big Baby. I concur with D. Thus, this is round 6. A puncher for volume. Strong-handed, but more of a puncher with volume. In this bout, he is averaging 63 punches per round, and that is far higher than the heavyweight average. Yes, indeed. Once more, Washington is letting Miller down. Miller's left hand hurt. Washington is now attempting to seal the agreement. Miller's left hand was injured. He gives a head shake. No, it indicates that I'm injured. For the first time, Miller was hiding something. One more capable right hand. Arouse the audience. Washington tumbles into the corner. Apologies. Yes, I set those shots, Gerald is being pushed back by him. He is conversing with him. This is a really fascinating battle from Big Baby, but it might not matter because Washington plays that game. It's my turn. Your turn. Yes. They play that game because, in part, middleweight life bouncing around appears really worn out at the moment as he enters. She's also doubling down on that jab. It appears that he has now discovered what works for him. Yes, right hand on the body, double jab. Right hand on the body, double jab. It appears to be Washington. Once more that uppercut. That's a good right hand. Moreover, a left hand Washington is forced into the ropes. Another right hand for Washington. And Miller's combination again. Washington is still in a tight spot. Waits until the bell rings. From the other side of the ring, and I will experience the sense of urgency, pride, and victory that I have gained. You're feeling? And I'm going to try to tear your head off outside. The early portion of the round was that. Washington was doing quite well. Yes, I believed Miller was hurt by that left hand. Communicates with the combatant. Yes. Both fighters are aware of that since it indicates weakness. And whenever you be feeble. But it's not. Excellent one. Nearly there, catching up to Washington. Since the opening round, Washington has been stuck against the ropes at the absolute end of the limit. This is a true boo sport, so feel terrible for them. It seemed like the appropriate stoppage to me. This is Big Baby's opportunity. Washington, like he is today, against the ropes. The Washington target is beginning to suffer a great deal. Once more, a nice uppercut. They're seeing the bright side in seconds, so it's just kind of cumulative now. Miller's exhausted. You can hit him. You can cause some harm, but it's difficult to do so when you're so worn out and have been battered. Now in the middle of the ring, another Washington has returned to the ropes. A double good body shot. Miller is handling all the appropriate actions. The speed at which Big Baby has been moving his head is really uncommon for a heavyweight of that size. All right. A combination of 3, 4, and 5 punches. It wouldn't require much. Additionally, you will have a corner if Washington manages to get out of those. That is concerned. You will have concerned physicians and a concerned referee. Correct. But, Miller has truly shown us everything. Good body work. Perhaps the best I've ever seen from him, I thought. Had a rather strong ability to jab. He has demonstrated a great deal for us. And sure, the whole what-if thing about whether he lost the weight, but he looks great now. This marks Jarrell Miller's 8th round since the opening round. I find this to be interesting. Yes. Usually when Big Baby is struck, it's by his right hands as he enters. Are you certain that Washington cannot harm him? Or is this just a bit of defensive sloppiness? This is his style, despite the fact that he occasionally gets caught during those defensive careers. He is a fighter who thrives on pressure, so he lets them exhaust themselves and then comes forward. I've always assumed that was his strategy. Therefore, I can agree. Maybe we'll see when he battles someone who can hit a bit harder than Washington. There are many things he can look back on and think, hey, I can do this differently. Nevertheless, as you ascend that ladder, once you arrive, you'll be able to make those changes. Has one loss, which occurred during the title bout, and some success. Not too awful. He could cruise, but he's still throwing in combination and applying pressure. Assuming he survives, this fight is won after all. He will not lose to Wilder compared to many of his other heavyweights, elite champions. Deontay fought Washington, who is here to stay, and he has been calling these people out. And once more, Washington was against the ropes with his hands down and not really resisting. I simply don't believe it will take very long, a lot. However, I suppose there's always the belief that heavyweights only need one chance. You don't always think that when flyweights are fighting, you hold out hope when there shouldn't be any when dealing with heavyweights. I think there's not much for Washington. Once more, a chopping right hand and an uppercut. He wobbles at the bell and is again sent into the ropes with a right hand. Guys, the referee simply entered and broke up the fight. That's all. The battle is over. Well, it stopped. Gerald Miller, the Big Baby, wins again, stays unbeaten, adds another knockout or at least a stoppage to his record. It was a rather excellent test for him. And once more, I am aware that the weight in 298 is a problem. More than even he wishes to be, I'm sure. However, as we already stated, he's a really good sportsman. You might be surprised at how much he can carry. Thus, the winner is Jarrell Miller. Big Baby hasn't lost yet. A remarkable performance prior to leaving Dodge.